Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and I am here today with game 3 of a best of 5. It's from the TvZ UK Masters and it is between a Zerg and a Terran. So let me introduce them. I'm going to do it in the opposite order I have every other game this series. So, in the top right position, spawning as the Terran, for Team Western Wolves, we have Sting. And his opponent down in the lower left, the blue Zerg player from Team Liquid, Rhett. And now, I don't want to be pessimistic, but Rhett, he has his work cut out right now. Because, pause if you don't want spoilers from the previous two games, but Rhett is currently down 2. In a best of 5, that means that should Sting manage to win this game on Cloud Kingdom, he will, without doubt, win the series. And that is good news. I'm not going to let you know how that affects the TvZ UK Masters as a whole, though, because if you watched the tournament or didn't, or trying to work it out in spoiler-free mode, then you should be able to do that from, well, other stuff and Liquipedia, etc. But if you just want to enjoy this as a best of 5, sit down, relax, lean back and enjoy, because I cannot do any of those apart from enjoy, because I am not relaxed in the slightest. I am so hyperactive right now because this cast is just oh so good, and that just means that, yeah, I'm loving it. I also can't sit back, because when you're incredibly excited, you can't help but sit forward. Like, legitimately, I am sitting here on the edge of my seat. I even know what happens in this series. I don't know exactly what the plays are or the games pan out, but I know the final result. But I don't know how many games there are in this series. This could be the last one for all I know. It could go to all 5. But yes, I'm still super excited, because game 1 and 2 have let nothing get in the way of my absolute enjoyment and euphoria at them. So legitimately, this is just brilliant. I'm in esports heaven at the moment. It's that good. So barracks is complete. Refinery is complete. Bit later though than it was. No, actually, perfect time. There we go. Reaper comes out, so that's all good. I didn't see the Reaper though. I glanced at the gas first. I know, noob caster, but yes, spawning pool coming down. This is all good. Red 15 hatch, 16 pool, just as we would expect, because that is what every single Zerg player has done since. Actually, when did they start doing this build? It's been so long, I forget when this was like just the gold standard of ZVT, and it must have been at least a year. Minimum? Was it more than a year? I don't know, someone in the comments section, tell me when 15 hatch 16 pool first became the predominant strategy. Now, we do see here that the bunker is coming down. This is exactly as we saw on Akalon Waste, but this time Reddy's pulled the 2 drones, and should be able to deal with it. But it's a really awkward position and a great placement of this bunker, I must say, because it becomes really quite awkward for the drones to try and actually kill the SCV, because every time it moves, the drones have to go all the way around a mineral patch. In comes the Reaper as well, going to do a little bit of damage, but Red already forced to make quite a few Zerglings. If you're being forced to make Zerglings, you're not making drones, and if you're not making drones, you get behind a little bit economically. Putting the SCV in the bunker, good move, making sure it doesn't die so you can repair it later. This Reaper can now just kite back and go, hey, I'm in a bunker, what you can do? It's like being in a boat, or on a boat, but you're in a bunker, and nobody can look at you because bunkers are impenetrable, and so it really wouldn't make a good song by The Lonely Island. But yes, the Reaper coming in yet again. This is Reaper numero 2, so this just means that 2 Reapers does twice the amount of damage than 1 Reaper does. Queen do manage to snipe off the SCV though, and that means the Reapers will have to get out of here pretty snappy, and will not be able to salvage it with just so many Zerglings around there. So that's a good amount of damage done there by Red. 100 minerals as opposed to just 25. That is 4 times more efficient in terms of Red's engagement there. In terms of the resources lost, very equal. Only 5 resources difference between these two. Absolutely staggeringly close. And we've also got more barracks coming down, factory coming down, second gas, and the command center 3/4 done. So Red not actually in a bad spot at the moment. He's only lost 1 worker, which arguably is just as many as you'd lose if you just went to scout. We do see that the Reapers, though, they are getting dangerously low on health, but with those magical combat drugs, will be able to regenerate back up their health fairly quickly. The Reapers dancing up and down. Up and down. Very clever move here, taking the full health one up and the damage one staying down, so it can repair with combat drugs, allowing a couple more Zerglings to get out, killed, and the lower one can of course still attack once vision has been granted from the high ground. The Queen pushing forward just to make sure the Reapers don't do too much else. The Reapers starting backward and forward, trying to just play with the Queens a little bit. They won't really win that fight unless there's a lot more damage is done. The reactor Hellions are starting though. So is Stim. This build pretty much identical to Game 2's build we saw out of Sting that was very, very effective. Will he continue this in with some good drop play? Will Ret still go Muta Ling Bling? We will see, but currently he doesn't have the 2 evolution chambers, which would be indicative of that playstyle, so we've got to wait with bated breath to find out what these two have in store. But currently, I'd say a lot more revealing on Sting's side, and just everything going just as normal. This Overlord should be able to get away. And I say that very tentatively. No, definitely won't be able to get away because the second Marine's there. We do have the Queens and the Zerglings pushing against the Hellions and the Reapers. With the Hellions, they're doing some nice damage, trying to focus down one of the Queens, delaying some of the creeps. But there's the double evolution chamber, just as we've seen every other game from Red. These two playing very, very standard. Their build order's so refined, it's absolutely spectacular. So, and of course, one thing I do get asked is why don't I do build order videos? It's because if you do want to know their exact build order, look at the production tab, which is up most of the time, and just look at their supply and the clock, and you can learn quite a lot there. So you can really work it out fairly easily yourself, and it saves doing another video purely for tutorials. But if you do want some tutorial only videos, do let me know, because I will do some if there's a big demand for it. But there's a lot of very clever people, namely people like Apollo, who does every tutorials for all of the races that are just spectacular. And to be honest, I can't do something as good as he does, because Apollo is amazing with his tutorials, and they're absolutely perfection. So yeah. Anyway, we've got, of course, the hatchery coming down now. That's the third hatchery. Interesting location to take it. But the reason being is because the Reapers and Hellions were chilling around here, denying the drone from being able to go down. So Red desperately needed that third, because ultimately the natural is down for Sting, and he has to stay a base up. Working count currently seeing a 48 to 36. So Red not quite as far ahead as he might like. This hatchery taking a decent amount of damage. It is still out building what damage is being done, but if you weaken it now, it can be good. The Hellions do need to get out of there, though, because a lot of speedlings on their way through. Every time they stop the fire, there's the risk they get surrounded. They should now get taken out. At least 2 of them getting trapped. The third one taking quite a bit of damage as well, so forced to run away as fast as possible. The Spire coming down yet again here for Red. Identical build. He's got the Baning Nest slightly later, though, this game. That's the one notable thing I have seen. Meanwhile, Sting, he's got his starport out. Has he got his second factory yet? No, so that's slightly different. He's also still going on the just single engineering bay as opposed to the double engineering bay we saw previously. But in Game 2, he did have the upgrade advantage for the majority of it, so that kind of did pay out for him, and he was still able to upgrade Ret. But Ret this time, probably going to be a bit more on the ball. He's already got his lair done, so a lot earlier lair, and he's also got that Spire nearly complete. So he should start the 2-2 upgrades very, very quickly off of the 1-1, almost instantly, to be honest, because that's when you really want to get them. Upgrades play such an important part in this game. Ultimately, though, we've got Sting. He's looking like he's preparing for the move out, getting the armory and the second engineering bay at the same time, sinking in with +1 finishing. That just means the 2-1 upgrades can get started fairly early on, and that is great. Fourth base also on its way down for Red. The third command center, a third complete currently for the Terran player. This just means that this third base for Red, very vulnerable, and that is what Sting is going to try and exploit. A couple of Zerglings there, but nothing else. 19 Zerglings on the field, no more in production. This third is going to be in a massive amount of problems, and really that's what we're going to be seeing here. Some drones are getting taken out. A good stim. There's one medevac with this push now just joining in, so that means stimming has to be used very conservatively. A couple of Marines just moving out, clearing out creep tumors. This third base, though, will fall. This is a huge problem for Red, because he really needs this base, especially with the third already just coming to completion for Sting, and with his own fourth base not quite done yet. That means that currently Red is on 2 base, Sting is on 2 base, and both players will get their new thirds up at roughly the same time. Worker count is also equal with Mules. That means that Sting has got a good advantage. Red taking the more natural fourth base now. Double expanding, it's his only choice. He's got to make sure that he stays a base up at all times, otherwise he will get so far behind economically. Starport coming down. We've also got the reactor, more barracks on their way, so everything really piecing together. +1 Terran infantry weapons, 1-1 done though for melee and Ret. That means that he's got the upgrade advantage. 2-1 being researched, but 2-2 is slightly ahead of that actually for Ret, so he will keep an upgrade advantage. +1 vehicle weapons also in the pipeline for Sting. He's getting down more factories. A good little engagement here, getting it before the tanks siege up. That means 2 of the tanks will go down. The rest of the Zerglings should get cleaned out. A couple of Mutalisks potentially dying here as well. That isn't really what Red wants, but keeping the tank count down is really quite essential. Some more Banelings morphing. This base is probably going to be forced to cancel it, because I don't believe that the Banelings and Zerglings will be able to get there in time. It could be very close though. The Banelings are nearly done, but just so many Marines, yet the cancel is forced down. That is unfortunate for Red, because still he's on 3 bases, and as we can see, Sting, he's now got his third base up and running, floated in the right location, and morphed into an orbital command. Things really looking close this game, getting very, very tense. Red, though, his army just doesn't seem quite as big. His worker lead, he's actually not got a worker lead. He's behind quite substantially there by 11 workers. The Banelings are getting some good hits here. That will get cleaned up. No Marine, no tank survive. Reinforcements are coming across. No more Banelings here either. That means the Zerglings will take a few shots. Sting playing this so aggressively. Always really good to see this aggressive style out of any player. And in Heart of the Swarm, I really think you are rewarded for being the aggressor, I must say. So, in come these tanks. Forward come the Marines. The medevac there as well. Just a few more SCV, just a few more Zerglings, a couple more Banelings trying to morph. But Sting, he will be able to snipe just small numbers of those Banelings off. He's got incredibly good micro. As you can see, an average of 342 ADM. Sky high. Really good play. In come the Banelings though. The Marines are low in numbers, so the Zerglings can deal some good damage. The tanks will get taken out most likely, and that just means that Sting just trying to force the pressure. One tank does actually manage to remain. No more reinforcements coming over yet. Sting just banking up a few more at a time. The Marines desperately trying to focus this third base, and if the third base goes down, I really think Ref will be on the ropes because he's already not in a great position. It does indeed fall, so it's now a 2-base Zerg up against a 3-base Terran. The drop coming into the main as well. There is only 55 drones to 69 SCVs. The Mute is engaging head on. That means the Mutalisk will die, which is not cost effective in the slightest. And of course, as we can see, Sting here getting his 4th base as well, so everything coming together. All of the package for Sting. He's looking so strong in this game, a much more one-sided battle than we've seen in any of the other games this series, or in game 1 and 2. So Sting, he's really doing all that he'd want. He's coming across with more tanks, more Marines, more medevacs, but Red, he's getting ready for a counter-attack. He knows more than anything he's ever known that he's got to do a good amount of damage here. Otherwise, he is so far out of this game. The counter push coming in though. The counter doesn't even go down on either of the hatches. That's 600 minerals straight away lost. Banelings coming in, trying to detonate the tank, taking some damage, but of course the Banelings do not finish it off, nor do the Zerglings. That means another shot goes down. The Banelings trying to roll forward for the armory, soaking up a lot of the damage there. The Marines behind, there's more tanks coming out. The push though coming in for Sting. Sting is looking like he's going to be able to take the series 3-0. Everything coming together just as the Terran player would want. He is looking so dominating in this match, and there we go. Good work, Ret. Well, good sportsmanship. Sting, the great play, and to take nothing away from Red, he played spectacular in this best of 3 series. So if you enjoyed the video, like the video, leave a cool comment, and of course subscribe, and I'll see each and every one of you tomorrow for yet another new cast because there's daily uploads. I'm Madals. I'll see you soon.